Who is our program designed for? Our program is designed for an 18-year-old female volleyball spiker. She weighs 161 pounds and is 6'1". She is intermediate in terms of skill. She trains indoors through the months of August to November with her high school volleyball team. 3 times out of the week, she does strength and conditioning training, and on average, she competes 2 times out of the week. Our goal for our athlete is to increase her overall spiking percentage by improving her vertical jump, power, and overall muscular endurance. Volleyball is a team sport played with a ball in a net containing a minimum of 6 people. One team hits the ball over the net into the other team's court. Each team has 3 tries to hit the ball without letting the ball touch the ground. Each team attempts to score points by grounding the ball on the other team's court. Grounding the ball means allowing the ball to hit the court. As a spiker, you are typically the third person to come in contact with the ball. When spiking, a player uses one open hand to send it over the net. Here are some muscle actions and movements used from the lower and upper body. For lower body, flexion of the hip flexors, flexion and extension of the quadriceps and hamstrings, flexion and extension of the hamstrings and the tibialis anterior, plantar flexion of the Achilles tendon and gastrocnemius, and dorsiflexion of the tibialis anterior. And for upper body, the flexing of the deltoids and pectoralis major helps with abduction and adduction of the arms, flexion and extension of the triceps and biceps, flexion of the wrist flexors, and extension of the wrist extensors. And here is a diagram displaying those things. Here are some components to consider. In terms of injury, volleyball requires you change direction in a fast manner. She is at risk for ankle sprains and strains, hyperextension and dislocation of her shoulders, finger sprains, dislocations and tendon tears, and knee pain, dislocations, and lower back strains are also common. Physiological and biomechanic issues. For biomechanic, the main difference between men and women is that women tend to be more flexible than men. We need to be aware of this to help prevent injuries such as hyperextension of the shoulder. Again, she is at risk for mainly shoulder, knee, and finger dislocations. Also, she is at risk for lower back strains. Physiology. Volleyball uses the PCR and glycolic system. Our program will be challenging those 2 systems. Age, race, physiological factors. Our subject is 18 years old. At this age, her aerobic capacity is not affected by age. There is no racial differences. Physiological. Volleyball requires that you use the phosphocreatine system. This system powers maximum strength. This is the energy system that needs to be trained in order for the athlete to improve strength and explosive power. The amount of ATP that is stored in your muscle will fuel you for about 10 seconds of exercise. Another system that is used is the glycolic system. It allows enough fuel for 30 seconds to 3 minutes. It is very beneficial in high-intensity exercises and moderate strength training intensity. Overall, the phosphocreatine system is the main energy system used for a volleyball spiker. We will not be performing any clinical testing for our athlete because she does not have any clinical issues. Therefore, we did non-clinical tests. For the vertical jump test, by using the static vertical jump test, this will help measure our athlete's leg muscle power, which is needed to exert force into the ground to generate herself up to spike the ball. Anaerobic capacity. We will be using the 300-yard shuttle. By using a 300-yard shuttle test, we will be able to test our athlete's anaerobic endurance ability, which is needed to ensure she has powerful jumps with quick returns. Local muscular endurance. We will be using the push-up test. By using a push-up test, we will be able to measure our athlete's muscular endurance of the upper body muscles, which is needed to execute an effective spike. Agility. We will be using the 505 agility test. By using the 505 agility test, we will be able to measure her turning ability, which will also come in handy as a spiker. Flexibility. We will be using a sit and reach test. By using the sit and reach test, we will be able to measure our athlete's flexibility, which will be needed to not only prevent injury of the shoulder, but will also contribute to her spiking technique. Balance and stability. We will be using the SEBT. By using the SEBT, we will be able to compare our athlete's balance ability, which is needed to ensure she can maintain balance while spiking the ball. Tests not included: low speed strength, aerobic capacity, and speed. None of these will be used for our athlete. Breakdown of the macro cycle. The macro cycle is broken down into 3 parts: preparatory phase, competition phase, recovery phase. Macro cycles are necessary because they give an overview of our training program and to allow long-range planning that will last the entire year. By breaking down the macro cycle into different parts, you can use this process to identify several major events throughout the entire year and develop a plan that facilitates multiple fitness peaks. You can also make changes as needed for the athlete as they progress throughout the training year. Breakdown of the mesocycle. There are 4 parts of the mesocycle: off-season, preseason, in-season, and postseason. The mesocycle represents a specific block training that is designed to accomplish a particular goal. Mesocycles are typically 3 or 4 weeks long in length. Off-season. The purpose of the off-season phase is to build a solid base by performing exercises with low to moderate resistance with a high number of repetitions. The off-season is usually the time where athletes make the most significant gains in strength. The off-season contains 2 phases within it: endurance and strength. For the endurance phase, it lasts about 4 to 6 weeks. The purpose of this phase is to build a solid base by performing exercises with low to moderate resistance with a high number of repetitions. For the strength phase, it lasts from 4 to 8 weeks, and the purpose of this phase is to build overall muscular strength. Preseason. The preseason phase is dedicated to power conversion. These movements should be performed quickly and explosively. In season. The goal of this phase is to maintain the strength and power of the muscles throughout the season. All elements of strength training are reduced. Volume is low and intensity is high. Postseason. The postseason phase takes place after the competitive season is over. This phase is usually used for recovery. Strength training is performed 2 to 3 times a week at low workloads. This is done so the athlete does not completely lose his or her level of fitness. Overview of the microcycle. The microcycle is divided into 4 phases and 5 subphases: off-season, the preparation phase; preseason, first transition; in-season, competition phase; and postseason, second transition. The overall goal of the microcycle: our athlete focuses on power and strength and very explosive movements. The overall goal of our microcycle is to improve strength and power through specific training methods and varying intensities and volume loads. Why is the microcycle created this way? The microcycle is a group of several training units. Variation in intensities and volume sets the microcycle apart from other cycles. It is the basic building blocks of training for the athlete and trains the athlete on a daily or weekly basis. For the off-season, the goal of this period is to establish a base level of conditioning to increase the athlete's tolerance for more intense training in later phases and periods. Volume is high and intensity is low. Low intensity plyometrics. High repetition resistance training with light to moderate resistance. Rest intervals are short. For hypertrophy and strength endurance phase, the goal is to stimulate hypertrophic effects while increasing strength endurance. And for the strength phase, the goal is to increase the strength of the muscle specific to the sport. Volume is moderate to low and intensity is high. A sample workout for hypertrophy/strength endurance phase. The Olympic lift uses more of the ATP PC system, which will last for about 10 to 15 seconds. The other exercises use more of a glycolysis system. These exercises will last for about 15 seconds to 3 minutes. Power cleans will help her maximal anaerobic power, and the plate exercise will help her stabilize her core muscles, which will let her generate more power. Bicep curls will increase her local muscular endurance in her arms. The plyo drill will help her balance. Why are these necessary? These exercises help improve whole body strength with high volume and moderate intensities. The high volume and moderate intensities will help our athlete develop strength and endurance for more strenuous activities. The single plyometric exercise will help improve her balance and proprioception. It is essential that she be aware the position of her body on the court at all times in order to successfully spike the ball. How do they help achieve her goals? Her goal is to become more powerful in terms of her jumps and spiking abilities. These exercises will prepare her muscles for more strenuous activity. Sample workout for the strength phase. The Olympic lift used more of an ATP PC system, which will last for about 10 to 15 seconds. The other exercises use more of a glycolysis system. These exercises will last for about 15 seconds to 3 minutes. The power snatch will increase her flexibility and speed strength. The overhead slams with the medicine ball will improve her power in terms of spiking. It mimics the motion of spiking with added weight. Why are these necessary? The power snatch mimics the spiking motion. It will improve her jumping ability, her overhead arm movement, and her explosive movement. The other exercises all help with strength, and they all mimic motions that she will use in volleyball. How do they help achieve her goals? Her goal is to become more powerful in terms of her jumps and spiking abilities. These exercises will prepare her muscles for the strenuous activities that she will continuously be performing. Preseason first transition. The goals of the preseason are to increase the intensity of sport-specific training and the attention given to volleyball drills and skills. Also, we need to incorporate the development of strength and power. Volume is still slightly high and intensity is the same. It focuses on strength and power to maximize need variation in training intensity and workload. Last week, volume and intensity is reduced to achieve recovery. Volume is low and intensity varies. For the in-season competition phase, the goal for the in-season are to maintain and possibly improve strength, power, flexibility, and anaerobic conditioning. Volume is low and intensity is high. Training technique is high. Maintenance. Volume is low to moderate and intensity is high. A sample workout for preseason first transition strength and power phase. The overhead press, plank, and limo drivers develop the core and upper body strength, and this will help transfer power from the core to the upper body. The box broad jumps will help control impact and maximal power while also improving her endurance. All the Olympic moves help increase power and vertical jump. These movements are all geared towards working vertically. The Olympic lifts use more of the ATP PC system, which will last for about 10 to 15 seconds. The other exercises use more of a glycolysis system. These exercises will last for about 15 seconds to 3 minutes. Why are they necessary? The Olympic lifts are very similar to the types of movements that the volleyball player will perform, which are explosive actions. They also will help increase her flexibility, which will increase power. How do they help achieve her goals? Her goal is to become more powerful in terms of her jumps and spiking ability. All these exercises cater towards explosive, powerful movements. The plyometric movements will increase her run speed and the elasticity of muscles, which will increase her jumping capabilities. Sample workout in-season competition maintenance. The Olympic lifts use more of an ATP PC system than the glycolysis system, which will last for about 10 to 15 seconds. Medicine ball exercises use both systems. All the Olympic moves help increase power and vertical jump. These movements are all geared towards working vertically. The overhead throws with the medicine ball will improve her power in terms of spiking. Why are these necessary? These are necessary to increase her power, muscular strength, and vertical power. The heavier loads will help her increase muscle volume, which means she will get stronger. How do they help achieve her goals? Her spikes will be more forceful and her vertical jump will be more explosive. Postseason second transition, active rest recovery. The goal of this period is for the athlete to recuperate physically and physiologically for the long end season. Also, the athlete can rehabilitate from any injuries sustained during the season. Low intensities with low volume. No formal or structured workouts. Sample workout, postseason second recovery, active rest recovery. Both workouts use the ATP, PC, and glycolic systems. The swimming drills will help improve her anaerobic capability, local muscular endurance, and high-speed strength. The water provides an added resistance that makes the exercises much more difficult. The latter drills will help improve her agility. Why are they necessary? She needs a break from the same typical workouts in order to recover. Swimming is an excellent way to still train for volleyball through explosive movements because the movements patterns are harder in the water. The latter drills will help with foot technique, and in between, she still needs to get a little endurance workout. The burpees, core exercises, and medicine ball exercises will improve her muscular endurance, anaerobic power, and overall power. How do these help achieve her goals? Swimming drills will help her increase her jump height through explosive movements. Ladder drills will improve her foot techniques. When she returns to train for volleyball, she will still be in good physical strength. And here is a diagram showing our full program periodization. At the top is the macro cycle, which is broken into 12 months. From the beginning of December up until the end of April is recovery. From the beginning of May to the end of July is the preparatory phase, and from August to November is the competition phase. For the mesocycle, the postseason starts from the beginning of December to mid-April. Off-season starts from mid-April to the end of June. Preseason is the whole month of July, and in-season is from August to November. The same goes for the microcycles, but I also broke them into how many weeks it would be. For the second transition, active rest recovery is about 15 to 20 weeks. Preparation is about 9 weeks. The first transition is about 5 weeks, and the competition is about 18 weeks.